Hello and welcome to the session on user studies, methods, techniques and evaluation. The documents, users and librarians are the essential components of a library system. One of the main goals of any information system is to provide pinpointed, exhaustive and expeditious information to users. In order to achieve this goal, purposive contact between the users and information is required. Satisfying the information needs of users is becoming complicated because of various factors. Therefore, to ensure that the relevant and accurate information is made available to the users, the information workers need to conduct user studies from time to time. An event of great significance in the history of user study was the establishment of the Centre for Research on User Studies (CRUS) in 1975 by the British Library at University of Sheffield. The main aim of this centre was to create a national centre to act as a focus for research in user studies. Let us look at the definition. User study may be defined as a systematic study of information requirements of users in order to facilitate meaningful exchanges between information systems and users. User study comprises the study of people's need for and use of information. In library context, user study is an attempt to discover patterns of use and levels of awareness of users towards library services, to determine success or failure of services, and to identify what adjustments are needed in service strategy. It is conducted to identify what exactly users want from the library. Methods and techniques. The method used for one type of user group may not suit for the other type of user group, because the area is under the grip of socio-psychological, economical, subjective configurations, which vary substantially from one group to another. Therefore, earlier researchers favored mixed methodologies instead of resorting to a single method. The methods used so far and important methods currently in use for conducting user studies are as follows. The first one, general or conventional methods, which includes questionnaire, interview, diary, observation and operations research study. The second one is indirect methods in the context of information use, which include analysis of library records and citation analysis. The third one is special and unconventional methods, which include computer feedback and unconventional methods. The major methods and techniques are explained below. The first one, questionnaire and interview. By these methods, especially from questionnaire, the factors like inadequacy of the collection, the recent publications in the field of interest, the forthcoming publication in the field of interest and the government publication in the field of interest can be studied. In the questionnaire and interview cases, each individual gives his opinion and suggestions on collection, development, services and other requirements. The second is observation. Observation of library users is a continuous process involving least cost and time factors when compared to others. Observation of the following aspects provides information in respect of various information needs of users. 1. Observation of interlibrary loan records. 2. Observation of borrowers' records. 3. Observation of recommendation records. 4. Observation of reference records. 5. Observation of research papers of users. 6. Observation of the use of microforms and audiovisual materials. 7. Observation of users' enquiries, etc. The next is case study. The study of a group or individual library user provides data from which one can generalize to the user groups of the given library. For example, the study of papers presented to the learned periodicals or conference proceedings by a select group of users of a special library shows what research materials like periodicals, reports, preprints are referred by the specialist. Through this, the library staff can evaluate what relevant materials are referred in their library and elsewhere. It helps to contact the group of specialists to know their opinion regarding what journals are to be freshly subscribed or what are to be discontinued. The next is query analysis. Query analysis is in fact not a method or technique, but faced by the library staff members when they are posted with varieties of queries. For instance, the queries such as the date of commencement of a conference, the date of specialized extension lectures, information on recent scientific procedures, and data point to the necessity of the resources to the users. Large number of queries on the commencement date of a particular conference indicates the necessity of acquiring or placing advance order for the publications. Number of queries on scientific procedures and data necessitates the procurement of patents and standards of the relevant scientific fields. The next is profile analysis. Profiles are clustered descriptors that are supposed to comprehend the requirements of specialist users. The user profiles are composed of terms of his information field. The document profiles are composed of terms contained in the document. The documentation officer or the information officer can understand whether the materials acquired in his information center can satisfy the user's needs or not. In fact, he can scan and place order for the relevant materials such as periodicals, technical reports, etc., to match the relevancy of information. Hence, profile analysis is a well established procedure to determine what collection is to be developed. The next is Delphi Technique. Delphi Technique is commonly in use of forecast the future trends and requirements. In this case, a group of specialists are chosen to answer the questionnaires regarding future trends and the requirements. The so-called data will be analyzed and interpreted. Again, the descriptive opinion of the data interpreted will be circulated together with the opinion from the same specialist. The final descriptive note will be recirculated to confirm the validity. The technique points out what field of research will be in progress in future, what research materials are required for the specialist, what plans have to be followed to develop the collection of documents for the needs. The next is critical incident technique. The technique involves gathering incidents in a story-like fashion from library users as responses to question asked in informal contact regarding library collection, facilities, acquisition programs, etc. The methods or techniques used to find information needs of users help to formulate policies and programs for acquisition and maintenance of qualitative collection. There is the distinct advantage in enriching the library resources based on the basic goals such as teaching, information and recreational needs of the library by carefully utilizing the data and information gathered during the course of user studies. User studies and their evaluation. The following factors should be considered when the survey is carried out. 1. What is the purpose of the survey? Why has it been undertaken? The reason for the survey should be defined and ideally given to those surveyed. If the survey is to be carried out in the hope of obtaining support from users for changes or no changes, etc., beware the results, since they are unlikely to be objective. The second, who will be surveyed? The targeted sample should be carefully selected and must be representative of the whole user group, since distortions in the sample group will give rise to misleading conclusions. Number 3. How will the survey be carried out? By the questionnaire alone, a series of interviews, or a combination of the two? The questions to be asked must be constructed very carefully. Research into the methodology of opinion polls shows how easy it is to ask the sort of a leading question that encourages the user to answer in the way that you want them to. Number 4. Who will carry out the survey? Objectivity is important but difficult to attain. Any bias on the part of the surveyor must be taken into account when analyzing the results. Useful conclusions and recommendations has to be done. It is important that the result of the survey is published in full. Both positive and negative points must be included. Number 5. What action will be taken as a result of the study? The conclusions and recommendations made should be practicable and should be acted upon. The user studies can and should be worthwhile exercises, although only if they are well prepared, carefully conducted and carried out with considerable attention in detail. However, it is still recommended, considering possible alternatives like a series of informal discussions with non-users before deciding to carry out a formal survey. Any kind of one-off survey can never be an acceptable alternative to the continuous monitoring and evaluation of users' reaction to the services provided. Let's summarize what we have learned in this session. The user study examines the relation of attitude towards information with various personal and psychological attributes. It gives an understanding of the factors that could possibly lead to the favorable attitude towards information use. Information source use behavior is also viewed. The study explores the affective dimensions of the users as to the information use and other factors which are not hitherto extensively considered in the context of user studies. I can give you some assignment topics. Number 1, what are user studies? What is the importance of user studies in libraries? Number 2, write an essay on the scope and objectives of user studies. Number 3, discuss the various methods of user studies. Number 4, what factors need to be considered in planning user study? And number 5, what kind of useful information can be derived from user studies? Here are some useful references for you. The book titled Users' Approach in Information in Libraries, written by G. Devarajan in 1989, published by SS, New Delhi. The next book is titled Library and Information User and User Studies, written by G. Devarajan in 1995, published by Becon book, New Delhi. The third is entitled Library User Studies, a manual for librarians and information scientists, written by P. S. Kawatra in 1997, published by JCO Publishing, Mumbai. The next book is Library and Users, written by P.S.G. Kumar in 2004, published by BR Publishing Corporation, New Delhi. The next is Attitude Towards Information, a study of social scientist, written by N.G. Satish in 1994 and published by Concept Publishing, New Delhi. Thank you for watching this session. Till we meet again, goodbye.